Mm. So, what I wanted to do, well, first and foremost, let me not be rude. So, hey, how you doing? Hope you had a good day today. What I wanted to do today is pop on for however long it takes. I usually say pop on for a minute, but it goes longer than that. But I wanted to take some time to talk about or ask you a specific question on what's currently in your toolbox, right? And when you usually think about that, you think about a toolbox, a handy man or a handy woman, you know, let's keep it real. And, you know, in order for a handyman or a handy woman to get a certain job done, they have certain tools that are in their toolbox that helps them complete the tasks that they need to complete, whether it's a wrench, a hammer, a saw, power drill, or anything of that nature. But they have a various amount of tools that they use to get a specific job done, right? But when I say toolkit, toolbox, however you want to use it, I'm also specifically talking about from a professional perspective. Because if you've been under a rock for the past 3 to 4 months or so, a lot of people have lost their jobs based off of the fact of certain decisions that certain administration is having to just trim the fat, cut whatever they need to cut, and people are professionally left out in the cold. And in some instances, because I've talked to a couple of people out in Washington and in other government elements, and even though it was very abrupt, even though it was detrimental to their career because they're in a position now of scrambling, trying to to find themselves professionally. Some people say it's a blessing in disguise because even though they have lost their job, they look at it from the perspective of they've gotten too comfortable in their job. And I've heard that come from a couple of people, not only just from the government perspective, but also people who are working a 9 to 5. This has happened to me also, where I got very comfortable at a job. Then all of a sudden, the bottom fell out, right? The bottom fell out. And initially, I thought it was the worst thing that could ever happen to me. But after thinking about it and the pivot that I made and the other tools that I've gained to put in my toolbox, it was one of the best things that have happened to me in my career, right? However, ever since that occurred almost maybe 15, no, it happened in 2008, right? In 2008, let me be very, very specific. Uh, my first career was in information technology, right? And my very first job, I had it for 4 years and I was coasting, right? I was, relatively young, making a lot of money, and IT came relatively easy for me. So I'm thinking this is the best thing since sliced bread. I did not, update my skills on a regular basis. I didn't have the hunger that I had when I was in college when I was trying to find an opportunity. Okay. So the Monday before Thanksgiving in 2008, I got pulled into an office and I got let go, right? I got let go because the company was going in another direction. I'm pretty sure if anyone that is looking at this live, and unfortunately they've gotten downsized, you may have heard that in a company, right? You're going in another direction. And it's their right and it's their business as an organization if they want to go into another direction. However, if they want to go into another direction, how are you as the employee, as the professional? How are you adding more tools in your toolbox? Do you even know what tools that you need to add in your professional toolbox to help advance you as a professional, whether you are in the company that you're currently in or you're currently seeking something else? Even if you're trying to pivot into another industry, another field, what is currently in your toolbox? And then, even more importantly, what do you need to add in your toolbox, right? And I'll give you a high level process on what you can do to start to discover what's in your toolbox and what you want to learn. Okay. First and foremost, it's always good to continue to add more tools in your toolbox in the professional industry that you are in, right? Especially if it's a long term industry. But even if you have a job that's relatively long term, you can get burnt out. You know, family can shift your priorities. Anything can happen that you can put you in a position where you may start to think about other avenues that you would want to dig into. Um, and one of the things I had to learn a long time ago, you know, old keys won't open new doors, right? Um, Meaning the tools that are currently in your toolbox may not be relevant to where you are. Excuse me, it may not be relevant to what you need to do to advance your career or even go into another industry. And I know some people feel some certain type of way, or I'm threatening somebody's comfortability when it comes to a job and opportunity. But these are the realities that we are dealing with quietly, right? This is the reason why people are getting let go. If a company's moving in another direction and they feel that you are not relevant in the position that you are in, the company has to make decisions on how to trim the fat. That's been going on, whether it's nonprofit, uh, corporate America, uh, whatever industry, especially nowadays, based off of the huge financial cuts that are continuously coming down the pipe, right? And this is something, and I hate to say this, but I want to give you a dose of reality. These organizational cuts isn't something that you cannot control. You can't, right? This was one of the things that this is the hardest pill that I had to swallow the Monday before Thanksgiving in 2008, right? Because once I got let go, I truly didn't understand the reason why, right? But one of the key reasons why was because even though I felt that I had enough tools in my toolbox, apparently I didn't because I wasn't relevant enough to stay with the organization, right? Also, large moment of transparency. I did not understand the skill of relationship building and networking within the organization. So I had people in the room in these high level meetings that would speak on my behalf. I did not have the tool of building relationships because I thought my knowledge and my hard work was going to be the thing that helped sustain me in this particular organization. Oh, I was wrong. And once again, it was one of the best lessons that I had to learn. But one thing that you may want to do to figure out what are the other tools that you would need to have in your toolbox is to do a hard and sometimes painful assessment of where you are and what position you have in the industry that you are in and what are you have the key and relevant skills that you need to continue to flourish, right? I'll give you a prime example. And I'm pretty sure you've heard this before, but even if you haven't, I'm here to tell you this right now. Actually, I told a couple of coworkers this today. When it comes to the concept of AI is coming like a Mack truck. And people with jobs such as delivery, people with jobs which is a TDL, people with jobs that can be easily be replaced by technology, their jobs are in danger. Not saying that they are not worthy of these positions, but technology will, from a corporate perspective, technology will replace the position that you are in. As an example, I saw on social media a while ago that Amazon is starting or they will continue to let go, unfortunately, a large amount of people who work in the stock and in the warehouses that actually pack the boxes and things of that nature. And these are jobs that put food on the table and provide for their family, which are essential jobs. However, these robots that can work long periods of time, they don't complain, um, they'll never say no. These corporations are looking at it from the perspective of what would you rather deal with? Just fine tuning a robot that can work and probably put out more output than an actual human being, or deal with a human being that may not value the job, may not come into work. I'm not saying that's all people, but you do have those groups of people that really don't care about the job that they are in. It just is what it is, especially with me now working in workforce development. You also have a wide assortment of people, unfortunately, that do not even want to work, right? They would rather stay on public aid and stay comfortable as opposed to getting out there and providing. Why that's happening, from my perspective, I don't know, but that is the truth. But if you, even if you are a construction worker or someone that job can be easily replaced by AI, maybe you need to start looking at AI and how you can start to be in the forefront of AI and what you can create. That doesn't necessarily mean you need to stop and quit your job now, but while you are working, take advantage of taking some time out, and you can always find the time that is most important to you. For anyone that says that I don't have the time, even if it's 30 minutes or an hour a week, that is time that will compound over the course of weeks, months, years, or whatever have you. But based off of what you do a hard assessment of what your current skill sets are to know how not just specifically AI, how you can add more to your toolkit. Let me put myself into this perspective because I talked about AI. For me, I'm a big process person. I love process, I love procedures, and then how to execute those processes and procedures to eliminate, as they call, waste, meaning there's waste for time and waste of money. Me knowing that AI is moving the way that it's moving, I know for a fact that I need to add the tool, I need to add the tool of learning as much as AI as possible so I can be more competitive because I understand how it feels to get left in the pack. I don't want to go through that before again, but knowing I know what's potentially coming, I am researching, listening to podcasts, get on YouTube University, finding a lot of free resources that is readily available for both you and I in any industry that you'll start to want to learn more tools around. This stuff is very available, but you have to take the time, one, to make the decision that you want to start to add more tools in your toolbox, and then two, what's the step by step process or step by step things that you need to do. One of the easiest things that you can do is just give give some energy to learning the key things that could potentially take your job or that can potentially disrupt your industry because this is all coming. I talked about AI before. I did it. I'm doing it again. AI, uh, mark my words. And I'd rather tell you this, guys. So I would rather for you to know and put forth some action on figuring out what you need to do than not. The AI wave will be bigger than the internet wave. It will be bigger than the social media wave. And right now, if you're looking at this, well, July 21st, 2025, we are still at the forefront even before the wave hits. Okay. And this is something that's near and dear to me because I want to make sure that I learn as much as possible. So I'm not in a position where I become irrelevant in my career and in my business to the point where I won't be a valuable individual in the industries that I'm in. Um, so I won't get. I'm not saying I just only value money because I don't, but the main thing is just if you do not have the right skill sets or you don't have the right tools in your toolbox. Let me stay focused on the overall topic of this live stream. You will get left behind. which is very critical. And I don't want anybody on this live stream, or if you're looking at the replay, if you are looking at the replay, please put replay in the comments so I know that you're here, but you'll get left. Well, I know this is live, and my daughter's upstairs jumping up and down, and I'm going to keep that in the replay. But you want to make sure that you are very keen and you are very knowledgeable about what your current what's in your current toolbox. You may be looking at this right now, and no judgment. You may not have anything in your toolbox because you've been doing something for so long that it's become second nature, and you don't have the will, the drive, the determination, or you're just comfortable in your career. No harm, no foul. But as you are looking at this live stream or this replay, you want to make sure that if you don't start to develop a hunger to develop more tools and put them in your toolbox, you will get left behind. There are people right now that is creating more technology, that's creating more processes and more procedures, and they're going to implement this stuff whether you like it or not. In actuality, they won't care if you don't like it, because as a whole, the company is saving time, they're saving money, or they're making money, which is one of the driving forces in any industry. I don't care who you work for, their main goal in order to be successful is either to make money or to save money. And knowing that, you have to align, what tools you need in your toolbox to help either the organization, or if you want to be an entrepreneur, or your overall business either make money or save money, right? So I didn't want to keep, and if you want me to go even deeper into this concept about the who, what, where, when, and why on identifying what's currently in your toolbox, even more importantly, what you need to do to develop more tools to put in your toolbox, please put it in the comments, right? I didn't have any type of script or any type of outline for this live stream, but me just looking at videos and doing my due diligence to put more tools in my toolbox, it would be disheartening for me knowing that my main goal in the audience is to empower them to be successful in their career or their overall business, is to not let you know what's going on, because I'm doing whatever I need to do to prepare myself. And I want anyone that is looking at this live stream to start going through the process. And here's the thing, you can start today, right? You don't necessarily have this is what I've done. This is the decision that I've made, because I knew for a fact when I asked myself the hard question on why don't I have more tools in my toolbox, one of the main reasons is I was wasting time. I was wasting time, and I'll be very transparent with you. I'm starting to turn that around. I've wasted a lot of time just scrolling on this phone, right? Looking at mindless stuff as opposed to figuring out what are the things or what are the tools that I need to have in my toolbox to continue to provide for myself and provide for my family, right? I'm not there yet because I still catch myself scrolling for long periods of time, but now I'm starting to interject learning other things, whether it's looking on relevant things via YouTube or listening to podcasts. I'm I'm bigger on listening as opposed to reading. I mean, I read if I have to, but I'm able to retain more information a lot quicker and to retain this information a lot longer based off of what I hear. So now it's more flushing in, the stuff that I need to learn to add more tools to my toolbox, um, than just mindless scrolling. Once again, I like to be very transparent because I feel that I cannot help people if I'm not transparent based off of at least the journey that I'm still on. Am I there yet 100%? Absolutely not. But there are people, because I talk to these people and I observe them, that they are really digging in. Even if they are working a 9 to 5, they are taking the time out to learn more tools to add to their toolkit. This is something that this is a key behavior on being successful. And this key behavior on being successful This isn't something that just existed in 2025. This is something that has happened since the beginning of time. But then you want to ask yourself, do you want to get left behind, or do you want to be an individual that is in the forefront based off of the industry that you are in, the industry that you want to be in, or the business that you want to start, right? So, if you did want to learn more about, uh, my journey when it comes to putting more tools in my toolbox, even though these lives are more about you and more for you, please put it in the comments or shoot me a DM. I'm very serious about this, guys, because I know for a fact if there's anybody on this live stream that has lost their job based off of the fact that their job was being eliminated, especially your job was being eliminated based off of the fact that you weren't relevant in your skills. I need for you guys to take this super seriously the way that I am, because I know for a fact I know who I need to provide for, and I know the things that I want to accomplish in the future. And starting that process could be just something as simple as going to YouTube or going to a podcast or even, leveraging AI just to say, act as X, Y, and Z. Well, actually, this is a prompt, and I'm just going to go off the top of my head that you could potentially use. You can modify, you can go verbatim, but you can say something on the lines of in a prompt with Google Gemini. You don't even necessarily have to use ChatGPT, but say something on the lines of, I want you to act as X, and that X could be that industry expert, a fundraising expert, a AI expert, a processes improvement expert, a construction expert, an HR expert, whatever it may be. You want to ask them, act as that type of expert and list the 10 skills that I need to learn in the next year to remain relevant in my industry. Let me say that again, because once again, I'm just going off the top of my head. But if you use Google Gemini or any one of the AI tools, put this type of prompt or this type of variation, act as X expert. Once again, that X could be HR, construction, processes, IT, whatever your industry that you're in or that you will want to get in. Act as that expert and list the 10 most essential skills that I need to learn to stay relevant in the next 3 years. Whatever output that was given to you, use that as a baseline on the things that you need to learn. Actually, what I want you to do, and if you're looking at this live or this replay, use that prompt and then put it in the comments because I would love to see the type of skills that you would need to learn in your industry to remain relevant. I'm talking too fast. And then we can start to have a conversation in the comments because this is something that I don't want you guys to blow past. People, especially in the professional world, people will value you and AKA will pay you based off of the relevant skills that you have. I have never heard someone that will pay you a today's salary based off of the skills that you had 5, 10 years ago. It doesn't work. They pay you for the value that you bring to the marketplace, not from a personal perspective, because you can be a valuable man and a valuable woman when it comes to your family, when it comes to your church, and other aspects. But when it comes to the landscape of the professional industry, based off of your relevance in your career and how much you will get paid. It is strictly based off of the tools that in your toolbox, right? So thank you guys for your time. If you deem this valuable, please put valuable in the comments so I know that you're here and this is something that it'll give me the motivation to keep going. But once again, regardless of the industry that you are in or the amount of years that you have in this industry, you have to once again, do an assessment of what's currently in your toolbox and then get a projection of what are the other tools that you would need to remain relevant in your career or in your business. As always, this is Eric B. Horn. Thank you guys for your time. It's kind of quiet upstairs. And if you are a parent, the whole world can be crashing down upstairs and things feel normal. But once things are quiet, that's the thing that makes me nervous. So I'm about to go upstairs and check on my dog.